Okay, I'm gonna roll the dice. Did I leave the big advertisement image up on this next scene or not? That is the question. I did not. Boom. Fixed. Fixed it. Got him. Got him. So many votes for Space Giga. Do you guys like it because of the outfit, or is it because you like seeing the chibi model more often? By the way, that model, I have a button that lets me just swap back to OG chibi as well, which I haven't been using much because I just really like the space outfit. So I might be able to do a thing. Can we get a button? Oh, so you guys change it? The problem with that stuff, it's possible, but the problem with that stuff is if I make a command that you can like use channel points, let's say, or pay bits or something to like swap the outfit, it swaps the outfit but leaves all the default settings on. So if I did things to be like, oh, helmet off or helmet on, and then eye patch or no eye patch, there's usually like a couple things that I change up here or there, and it's not always default. So every time you swapped it, it would always be default. And then like, if I didn't notice, and then I look over and I'm like, oh, I don't want the eye patch on today, I'd have to press the button. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's doable, but it will always reset it to default, which I think for space is helmet off, for example. So I'd have to make like a separate button for you to also do like each of those things if I'm not the one doing it. You know what I mean? So, you know, about the therapy suck. I'm gonna put it on a different vote another day. Ooh, space won by a large margin. Okay. Yeah, if you couldn't tell from listening to me, I'm sick. I was so ready to do an alt stream yesterday, and then I woke up and I was like, oh, oh. I saw some family. I managed to get like a little scratchy from Christmas, but not much, right? I like avoided some of the Christmas crud from like all the kids and everything being sick. And then I saw some family the other day who did not avoid it, and I think like they carried it and then passed it to me. So I've got like the legacy of the Christmas crud is in me right now. So unfortunate, but yeah, I got round 2. So I'm here, but I'm feeling kind of So if I end a little early or anything, or maybe I don't know. If I just am like the whole time, you know. That is why. Had chemo before the holidays, virtual family time. Dude, it's kind of a great time. Chemo's terrible, but like you at least get to not have to deal with people, and you have a really great excuse. No one tries to guilt you. No one's like, oh, come on, come out for holidays. Oh, can't you just visit? Like, no one says anything. They're like, yes, understandable. Yeah, the silver lining. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sick. So I might I'm definitely on the beginning end of it. It has been getting worse, so I likely won't stream tomorrow. Because I can feel it. And I could tell, like, I could talk today, but if I talk today, I'm not going to be talking much tomorrow. So I had to pick, and I picked today because at least today I feel like I can talk. It might just progress to that tomorrow no matter what, but it's definitely like a lower respiratory thing. I've taken something, so I'm hopefully not gonna like sneeze and cough too much, but it's gonna get there, so. You could do TTS. Let's stop trying to come up with magic ways to stream when sick. I don't really take days off anyway, so. you know, not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Yeah, I'm definitely getting poop lung. It's really getting there. so so yeah, so I probably won't stream tomorrow, and then we'll see how I feel Sunday. Hopefully this is a shorter thing. I don't know, sometimes I'm sick for 2 days, sometimes I'm sick for 5, so we shall see. But I've been like recording a lot of stuff too, so my voice in general, like I just needed vocal rest yesterday, sick or not. But yeah, at least this time it isn't Mata trying to kill you. She tried to hit me with that biological warfare, dude. She thought, but I lived, bitch. I lived. Bit the bullet and bought the hoodie. The hoodie from this collection does look really nice. It's very, there's the product image. It's just, I wanted it to be low-key, but not so low-key that we're not even on it. You know what I mean? Like, there's some merch that is so low-key that it's only, like, if you know, you know. This one at least still has us on it, but it's nondescript. It doesn't scream like this is about VTubers. Just generally, like, some characters, you know, it's whatever. So I really like it. I feel like it's a really, 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 really good medium. Should sell pajamas. I thought about selling, like, loungy sweatpants. I thought about that. I don't know. I just feel like, maybe. I don't know. I think people tend to have enough of that stuff. They wear a lot of throwaway clothes. You know? Sweatpants. I find, okay, sorry, I'm yawning. Sorry, I'm like so tired. When I get sick, I actually do sleep for longer periods of time instead of being like a 4-hour freak. When it comes to selling like pants as merch, I find that less is more on the design, but then you run into that situation where you end up under designing to the point where it barely even feels like it's like merch of you and your brand. You know what I mean? I don't mind doing that because I try to keep, like, I don't know if you've noticed, but we try to keep like 999 as a motif here and there on apparel. Like, I'm level 999. Okay, so let's use that as like, not necessarily the brand name, but it feels like a brand name in a way, right? So I try to keep things consistent like that, which means that if we did sweatpants, I could probably just like put that on there and then a little something else and you'd be like, oh, I know what that is, you know? But if I didn't have that, like what do you put on sweatpants besides like a giant woman on the leg, you know? You know what I mean? So it's doable. It's just like a little harder to hit that sweet spot because it's, you don't want to put like, I mean you can, but you don't always want to put a giant character on the entire pant leg. But yeah. Hold on, I'm messaging an artist. That symbol you had on your eye patch in the Warlock outfit. I like that symbol. However, it is so not unique, if that makes sense. There are plenty of other characters or brands or things that could use it, and you could be like, oh, maybe it's this, oh, maybe it's that. It lacks, like, I don't look at that and go, that's 100% GEEGA related. You know what I mean? So I don't dislike that emblem at all. And I'll probably reuse it, but I don't want that to be like the thing. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not gonna lie, when VShojo kept using that as my symbol, like for imagery and stuff, I was like, can we please choose anything else? Because like, yeah, they would have like a flying eyeball creature with that in the middle to represent me, and I was like, this isn't bad, it's just not like this ain't it was never meant to be like my logo or anything, you know what I mean? It was just like we slapped it on the eye patch just to have something new for the outfit because we had eyeballs on the outfit. You know what I mean? But I didn't have eyeballs on any of my other outfits or anything else. So I was like, can we? I asked if we could get a designer to maybe hire to make something else that is more unique and can kind of go across outfits. And then they just didn't. They were like, we could look into that. And then they'd be like, oop, there's no time. We have to. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe for the future, let's do this. And they'd be like, okay, we'll consider it later. And then every time later came up, it was, oops, it's, oops. You know what I mean? They did use it a lot more as your mascot when Boris was right there. Well, Boris was, okay. Yeah, that was the other thing, too. And sometimes I didn't, I wasn't, like, consulted on what mascot to use for what thing or whatever. They would just, like, have packaging and be like, oh, we're putting everyone's mascots on it. And they'd use, like, the flying eyeball. And I was like, this is just part of one outfit. This isn't my mascot. And I specifically didn't want to really use it too much as my mascot because Fruit had Terry. Which also, like, is the same shape thing. But yeah, they just kept using it, man. And they did ask. They did ask. It's not like they never, ever consulted me. There were certain times they didn't, and other times they did. And when they did ask, it was always, like, too late, because I'd be like, hey, we need to, like, design an entire new thing. And they'd be like, oh, we need something now. And I'd be like, well, want to make a logo or a symbol representing Boris or something? They'd be like, oh, we don't have the time to, like, redesign something. We kind of need something usable. And it would just end up being the only thing that we had, you know? So that's why I wasn't, like, screaming and crying on the back end being like, you can't use it. And they were like, haha, we will, actually. Like, it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't that. But still, it was just like, how do I say it? Like a lukewarm lack of caring, even though I expressed an issue. They never thought about fixing it for the future, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Which is kind of the way a lot of stuff was. It's very, like, you know. Yeah, just pretty bad incompetence, more than anything. Remember you always stressed the Warlock outfit was not your VShojo outfit, that it was in the works before you joined, yet VShojo seems to take it as your VShojo outfit. It made sense when I first joined to use it a little more, but, like, over time, like, I had the Inquisitor outfit, and we did the drop of those items, and those items were all, like, 100% dictated by me, but then they never used any imagery relating to that for anything. They also got the colors wrong all the time, dude. When I joined, they asked me for a hex code for my color for the website, and I gave them this, like, wine red color, and I was like, I want this to be my representative color because it's, like, my eyes but darker kind of thing, you know? And I was like, no matter what outfit I have, this will always work as background color. And then on, like, a bunch of merch items, there was this, like, pale yellow as my background color. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I brought it up. I was like, can we change that? And my manager was like, yeah, I really don't like this. Like, it doesn't look good, you know? It makes sense with your other color palette, but it's still desaturated, which doesn't work. You know what I mean? We were, like, going over options, and by the time we were picking through options, they had, like, already started making stuff. And I was like, well, well, what do I do now? But I also brought up that I didn't like that because they put it on the website for a while, and that I wanted to change it, like, many months before, and then it still somehow, that color made its way onto merch for, like, AX, and I was like, Check the JP version of the site. Bugged me that your name was heard as GEEGA instead of GEEGA. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that, honestly. I feel like the way they spelled it was kind of like a better representation of how you say it. But I also, like, they didn't discuss with me, oh, maybe change it in your display name or, like, anything like that on, like, Twitter. They just did it. That was kind of the problem with everything, right? They just, like, did stuff, and it was very disjointed. You could tell they probably were not keeping a nice, like, brand document to keep everyone's brand straight, which is crazy because that's all, like, that's, like, the most important thing If someone's like, oh, spell my name this way, or, I was very adamant, hey, put my name in all caps. They did keep that one straight. But like, shouldn't you have a document somewhere that just has everyone's brand guidelines, which is what every company does when they have their own branding. And they actually had VShojo brand guidelines on the site that you download. It's usually called a press kit, is what they call it, when they have like your logo and how to and not to use your logo, that sort of stuff. I was like, we should probably have this for our characters. And they had one that had like a hex code and like a couple bullet points about us and like what our official height was, and that was it. That was all that was written on it. And that was like the only internal document I had ever seen about what our brands were. And I was like, this is missing like so much. It didn't even have our different outfits. It only had our key art. That was the other thing. It didn't even show our models. It just had our key art for the VShojo site. And I was like, okay, I think this is the document for the website. So it's good that, the person making the site like has this, but what about like literally everything else we put our brands on? They just didn't have it. They would just ask our managers, who would ask us. It was odd. That's one of those things I think back and I'm like, that was really odd. I mean, I said it was odd at the time, but you know what I mean? Like, more and more odd as time goes on. The sickly yellow and off-maroon ring. Yeah, brother, I don't know. Brother, I don't know. I was like, if I tell you, like, wine red, there's so many better things to pair it with than a sickly pale, diluted pea yellow, I think they took the yellow from the gold on my outfit and then just desaturated it and made it light. I think that's what they did. I don't know. Thinking back. I don't know. All I know is if I ran an agency, first thing I would do when someone joins is be like, okay, here's a sheet. It's like a character sheet with everything we need for your profile, your branding, everything you want. Fill it out so we have your guidelines, and then we'll help you fill out anything you don't know, right? And then I'd probably have a bunch of drive folders that also have the related items in it, so I don't have to ask them multiple times for their logo. Just as an example, off the dome. I don't know, man. Yeah, I agree, Lesh. Well, the thing is, really, really early on, they had a bunch of like teaser videos, right? When they started the company and when they did certain projects, they would have these really good teaser videos that would get people so hyped. And a simple like 30-second to 1-minute teaser video for something, I think, and you just insert like the proper branding stuff, like the proper colors and a couple things that show personality of character a little bit, or just general vibe. They call them like, if you've ever watched art films, which are like, it's just a film to consolidate a mood. Sometimes they call it a mood film. You just create something visually that makes people feel the right way and get into the right mood. And it's more than a mood board. It's that, but expressed through also audio and like more visual elements than just pictures. It's moving things. It's the pacing of the editing of the video also puts you in a certain like vibe, right? And when you do stuff like that, it really like ties everything together. It really tells people this is exactly what this is, concentrated, right? And it's sort of like what music videos are, right? A music video is, yes, it has the track that it's for behind it, but it's highly conceptual visually. And a lot of things about it match what's going on in the music or something like that. Or it tells a story that the music is supposed to set the mood for, or vice versa, whatever. And it's just sort of like a small art piece that consolidates, like, here's the vibe of the artist. Here's how the music is feeling. The music enhances the visuals. Everything plays back into itself. And it's just like a really concentrated, dense artistic piece, right? So you do the same thing with a teaser video. A lot of like VShojo teaser videos early on didn't have much to do with our characters so much as just like general brand stuff, but the music and like the graphic visuals that you're getting thrown at you, you knew exactly what this was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a lot of little choices made. And I really liked those. I liked that kind of stuff. And I was like, you know, with all the stuff that we're doing, I don't think any of it was as effective as like a singular teaser video that just had really good vibes for 1 minute. You know what I mean? like looking back, I'm like, dude, people feel these feelings, these emotions so heavily, and they really get attached to like a brand or a vibe off of a 30-second teaser video, way more than like 2 months of streaming ever does. It's crazy. It's insane. It just builds a lot of excitement and an understanding of like what you're trying to bring them into, you know? It's crazy how effective it is. I don't know. I think stuff like that is cool. The energy was real good, real nice. He tells viewers they wanted to create some MCU-style universe with their talents, yet they were careless with all the details. I by the time I came in, they weren't doing that anymore. By the time I came in, that stuff had not been done for like almost a year. Not almost a year, like half a year. It just kind of like they never once asked me or told me anything about lore tying in with anyone else's or with the company or anything. If anyone did a lore video after that had anything to do with VShojo, it was purely because they were just like, yeah, I think it'd be cool to include this, or they came up with the idea themselves. But yeah, it was never like a forced thing for me or anything like that. I think like when they were working with Mary, obviously he was like the writer for it. But then at some point, I don't know the details, but they weren't working with him on that anymore. I think some people just didn't want to like worry about their lore having to be tied together and having to think about that. So they dropped the like having to tie it together idea. And then I don't know, for me, I was kind of glad because I would love to put other people in my lore, but I want to do it how I want to do it, and I don't want it to have to fit into an overarching storyline. And I really like how some other companies will do it where there isn't too much story. Like, it's not actual written story. It is simply, like, world building, and that's it. Right? I felt like that was more important. Like, you can make whatever character you want and insert them into D&D, for example, right? And you just world build. And you're like, maybe this character is from the same town as that character, but it doesn't mean that they have to have, like, you have to tell the viewers how they met or something, right? Like, you don't need that. You can just show they're from the same area. Maybe they have similar vibes in an outfit or something, and there you go. Like Mouse and I. Mouse and I are both from hell. Okay, we're both literally demons from hell. And then our brands are different, right? And she's literally Satan, and she's the queen. Okay, and then I'm just like a general. I'm on the militaristic side. There you go. So easy to like then draw our characters together and have all this world building, but without us writing you a specific story, you know? And I thought that was like the right way to do it, but you know, yeah, there's so much room to cross over. Or like Zen did it really well, where Zen decided that my character was part of like her lore with Dragon Zen, but didn't know Cyber Zen. Right? And it's just, yeah, it was very simple. It was just they know each other, which makes sense that someone from hell would know a dragon. Okay. Like, there's so many scenarios in which that makes sense, you know? And then my character was just kind of like confused when seeing Cyber Zen, was like, who's that? You know, like that, like, who the fuck is that? And that was it. That was like all we had to do. And now like there's so much lore you could come up with around that, but you don't need to. The world building is done, you know? And now it's perfect for prompts for people. And they are more likely to draw me with dragons and stuff, especially, which I like. Still unsure if you're actually from hell or from a game or something. Well, that part of my lore I have written, but I never got to make a video to actually like display the lore. And at this point, I don't know if I want to make a video because I feel like it'd be too long. I can like, I'm trying to find a way to make something to TLDR that won't cost me a lot of money, but it will, like, every project I come up with relating to lore costs a lot of money, and it gives you no return. And I'm like, I don't really have like a shit ton of throwaway money, you know? Like, I do not hoard piles of gold. So I'm like, I don't know. But I also don't want to deliver, like, hey, this is the actual character lore, but in a shitty way, right? Like, I do all the joke stuff for, like, debuts or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know. But my character is both from hell and from a game, and that's all I'll say. You could use game motifs and stuff. You could not. I think the best way to describe it, the TLDR, is she has escaped. It's like the way to say it. That's where she's from. She has escaped. She's not actively in one right now. And that's the best way to put it. And you should all be concerned. That's it. But then you can do fun stuff like in isekai anime when they like get stuck in a video game or whatever. They like pull up a status screen and stuff. Like they can pull up UI elements in front of them, or they look at an enemy and they see its name over its head. You can imagine my character like seeing those things and other people don't. Stuff like that. Like that's fun for the motif if you want like art prompts and everything. And I wanted to make like media that showed that happening in some way, but it's not supposed to be necessarily an isekai. If that makes sense, it's like she escaped. You know what I mean? But yeah, kind of reverse isekai. Like she's from a game and she's back in the real world, but she sees the world that way, kind of thing. I think it would be really fun to make media around it, but again, it costs $1 billion. Would you ever consider fan competition for fans to create animations of your lore? I don't think I have enough people in my fan base that do animations heavily. Or maybe they secretly do. I don't know. I feel bad because animation takes so long. I feel bad asking them to do that for free. Because competitions, you tend to pay the top 1 or 3 people that win or whatever. And that pays them for their time. But then there's a lot of people that enter that don't get paid. So if it was a simple art or design competition, I don't mind doing that because there are a lot of people that can work at a pace where that's totally doable for them. But if it was like a longer animation thing, even if it's not that long, even if it's 30 seconds, that could take a lot of time to make and so much work if they're making like a good quality one, especially. I would feel really bad. I think if I had a huge fan base that had a lot of animators willing to do that anyway, it'd be fine. I just don't think I have the like number of animators in this community that would also want to do that for potentially free. You know what I mean? I would feel bad asking. No, I'm saying. People making full-ass animations for your few gacha game gems. Yeah. Some of the fan projects for gacha games in animation are amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I've thought about contacting some of them about like their work and stuff, but a lot of them they do it for the love of the game, and they actually won't take work from anyone. They're like, I'm only doing this because I love Genshin so much or whatever, you know, which is crazy, but understandable. Absolutely understandable, because when you're doing that much work, it's a lot. Could do storyboard instead. I mean, I did something that was a little more involved for Inquisitor for the time skip, because I felt like the time skip deserved that. It needed that. And that was like, it felt a little weird to have my like character change so much and just be like, yeah, this is what happened, whatever, and give like a throwaway explanation, you know? So I did make a longer automatic. I could consider doing more of that, maybe. I really liked how that one came out, actually. I was going to talk to that artist again, potentially. Where is the art from that? We also had someone draw comics. This was someone that my manager with Vshoujo had recommended. And it was like to tease the debut. Those were cute. It was like the last panel right before the debut. It was like as I came back, right? And it was the back of my jacket. And then Boris being like, you look different. And then this was the last bit of the comic on Twitter before you know, before the debut. So I was like teasing that something changed, but that was kind of it. But yeah, I did like that animatic. I liked how that one came out, and I did the storyboard for the video that we made. I did entirely myself, and I drew shitty stick figures. And I wrote out like dialogue and everything, and that was 100% me on the writing, and then I just handed it to an artist that I knew could do the vibe that I wanted. And I was like, "Can you make this look not like shit?" And he did. And he did. Why don't I know where this art is? I'm trying to find the images from it. It's somewhere. It's just like... Where is it? It's somewhere. Is Boris no longer in trouble for touching the book? Yeah. And I use my friend to voice Boris's inner thoughts, to voice him. I was thinking about who to use to voice Boris, and I was like, I need someone who has like crazy range and could really go between like a deep manly butler voice and then like a you know, kind of like I can't stop myself kind of thing. And I was like, who do I pick for that? And then I thought for 5 seconds and was like, I know exactly who is the best person for this. He did a great job. He did an incredible job. Okay, the art is not in my...
Jeff, are you down there? Are you down there? Are you down there?
I have all the PSDs. I have all the PSDs. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe I didn't save like them as PNGs. That might be it. Ooh, or you know what I was thinking of doing? I was thinking of getting artist friends to just keep drawing like 4 panels of art of me that gives a nod to the lore but has no dialogue, and just cryptically posting it on Twitter. Jeff's dying. Just cryptically posting on Twitter, right? Like, do you remember these when I did Warlock? Hold on, this is a huge image. Holy fuck. Why is it so huge? Like this, right? I had like a couple of these. We've got some that kind of look more like they were screenshots from an anime. And I'm like, what if I just have them make like cryptic 4-panel sets and then I just post them and make them think it's leading up to something, but it's not. It's just world building. I kind of want to do that. Cryptic world building. Could be nice. And I can include other people on it cryptically. I also have art from an old lore video that we never did the full version of. And it was like my OG lore video when I swapped to my 2.0 model. Do you guys remember this? You remember this with a slightly older version of my outfit? This shit was good. This shit was cash money. I should repost these. It had Joel in it. It had Joel in it for 2 frames. Ready? Here's frame 1. I asked him to get me... The dialogue was supposed to be that I ask him mid-lore video as I'm reading a book and like telling my story. We swap back to this art style and I'm like, Maid, can you get me a drink? And he looks like this. And this is panel 1, right? Or frame 1. And then this is frame 2. And that's it. I was gonna have a cut in where in the middle of telling the lore and we're in a different art style, we're in like a different zone. I start coughing and I'm like, can you get me a drink? And he just looks at me and looks away and keeps reading manga like a fucking bum. That was Joel's cameo. He didn't even have to voice it. And we never got to put it in the video, dude. We never did. I also had this art of me talking to Minky. There's Minky. Look at her. She makes my emotes. It's my son. Minky. I have frames of me coughing. Want to see me coughing? It says cough. That's how you know I'm coughing. These are panels we never got to use in that video. Me coughing. Me asking Joel if I can get water. And then it was those two frames of him looking at me and looking away. My reaction when he does not get me water. Dude, this lore was gonna be cash money. I think we did a really good job with what we did use. We just didn't use the coughing scene. We didn't use the coughing scene, and I have a billion PNGs. We had a lot of other stuff drawn to make an automatic. And I think these are the ones that I do want to use. I'll only mildly tease. Because I want to use them. We had PNGs like this. Here are all my adoring fans. My adoring fans. Here's me. That's me. It's like me in slightly older outfit. It's me in 1.0 moving to 2.0 was going to be the story. But it didn't need to be told because it just ended up being a time skip. Here's me on a stick. Here's 1.0 on a stick. I was thinking about getting a little set and just telling it like this. Moving it when I talk. And being like, this is the lore. This is the lore like this. This is how we tell the lore. And just putting all the art on a stick. But it didn't make sense to put all of it on a stick. So I didn't. But yeah, this is the 1.0 on a stick. And I don't forget about these assets. I still have them, and I've thought it'd be fun to do like one big video in the future that takes all these old assets and is like the story until now. I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to do that. We also had a rock on a stick. He's really important to the story, I promise. He's really important. He's like a major character. And I'm not joking. There are a few other major characters in the old lore. And he's a big one, dude. You'd kill for him? Well, he's dead. I'm sorry to tell you. No, he's not actually dead. I beat his ass. There were a few pretty cool ones, man. Some of this art looks so scuffed. Oh god, as I'm looking back on it. Some of this art is so crazy. So actually insane. Yeah, I should probably take this and make it into a comic book. I could probably do that, right? Spoilers, dude. It's whatever. It's whatever. I'll see if I can make something. I thought it'd be cool to make like like a recap episode or something. I think it'd be nice. Yeah, looking at all this old lore stuff we have, I have a lot. I don't know, but I can't find my Inquisitor ones. I have the PSDs still, so I have like the OG files, but I thought I had PNGs of it. Oh well. Oh well. But do you guys even care about lore much, or do you just care about world building? Like, do you care about specific story with writing and dialogue? Does that help you understand the world building better, or do you do better with like mood boarded stuff? Because some people prefer the lore delivery in a specific story, and then other people prefer just like more cryptic environmental telling of it. You know what I mean? Hmm. Trying to create fan content that does have a story or narrative, knowing where facts can help. No, see, the thing is, I don't like, sorry, I dropped my phone. I shouldn't say I don't like. I prefer when other people don't do the writing for me. I never, get mad when I see it. But when people do, like, a comic of me, and they're like, and then Zen said this, and then she said this, and they write stuff in the speech bubbles. From my perspective, a lot of the time when I look at it, I'm like, I wouldn't say that. You know, but I will never reply. Sometimes they get it right. I will never reply to that person and be like, actually, I wouldn't say that. You know, like I would never do that because I'm just thankful that they made something and that they care. Like that's very nice. Even if they watch me a lot, it's still really hard to write what a real person would say. So I just take it as, they're just trying to characterize, you know, it's whatever, right? Like I separate myself from it a little bit. But I do like when then people just draw art and it's telling a story visually, but they don't try to write dialogue. Because even if they get that off a little bit, it still doesn't feel as far off. You know what I mean? For a little content, with little no, I like when it has narrative, but not literal dialogue writing. Sometimes, you know. I want your lore to center around an orb, but the orb is never explained. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you can do when you write less dialogue and you go more in on visuals. You can have like an orb that keeps appearing. And if there's a lot of dialogue and then they don't mention the orb, it feels less important. But if there's not much dialogue or none and the orb keeps appearing, then people really are like, what is the orb? You know? You know what I mean? Maybe it's pondering, maybe it's not. Who knows? Who knows? You like irreverent takes like Michi's. I like the way she and Kuro tend to do their stuff where it's like very not serious. You know, because for a streamer, I think that makes sense. But both are fun. Even if it's very serious, it can be good. Like Shoto's lore about his like dead knife boyfriend soul thing. That's just what I call it. That's not what it literally was. But like the soul of his dead BF trapped in the knife and everything. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. It is so dramatic. And I was like, my God, this is so much. But I really loved the video. I really loved it, you know? So sometimes I do like the really specific lore. I think it just depends on like how it's executed. I don't know. I need to come up with more like cryptic art prompts to hire artists for. And then all make it tied together so it feels like it's something crazy and it's just world building, that's it. But here's the problem. Here's the problem, guys. Also, I pulled up my model. The vote earlier was for this model. Yep. Should I be in this room or should I be in another room? That should be in another room, right? Boom. Yeah. Yeah. This is the one. But yeah, I think the problem is if I'm posting art and I'm like, here's my cryptic world building show don't tell lore drops or whatever, right? If I post it on Twitter, you might see it, but if you miss one, Twitter's the worst as an archive, right? You scroll back and maybe you go to my media tab and you're like, oh, what has she posted? And then you see like there's just a billion images of screenshots of my face for my going live posts in between everything, and you have to scroll through all of those to get back to to the stuff that's like lore related. You know what I mean? It's like it's the worst. So how do you aggregate it better? I don't know. Need to bring back personal blogs or hear me out forums. Oh, I will never give my mods more stuff to moderate. You know, even if it's only me posting. I still don't want a forum format. I would do... I don't know. A buru? Yeah, it's like an older way of doing stuff. It's a better way to be able to tag information, I guess. Tag images, but I'd have to find a nice spot to host it, and I just don't want to do all that. I don't know. I'll make a spot for it, I think. I'll find a way. Using a tag and hoping it doesn't get overrun. The problem with tags is that anyone can use any tag to post anything they want at any time. You can't plant a flag down. Be like, this is my tag. Right? Look at the old vshoujo tag on Twitter. It is just filled with art bots and like scammers trying to get people to like buy VTuber models that they don't actually intend to deliver. It's filled with like scammers. They're not crypto bots. They're those people that are like, do you want a VTuber model? Okay, well, here you go. And then they're like, hashtag VTuber, hashtag VTuber debut, hashtag blah, blah, blah. And they keep using hashtag VShoujo in there, right? So you can't like, even when the company still going strong, we could not be like, don't do that. You know, like we couldn't stop that because no one owns a tag, right? So that's kind of like one of those annoying things with Twitter and using a tag. If someone wants to overrun something, they just can. And when people want to harass you and you block them, they usually try to like use your tags to get to you, stuff like that, you know? And I don't want other people like dealing with that, you know? Or artists who mean well but don't know the rules might like use the tag because they want to do art too within the universe or something, right? And they're like, oh, I made this thing to go with the lore. And you're like, no, that's for me only. And now it's a weird moment. Now it's weird. Now you have to tell them unpost, remove the tag. You know what I mean? Like, eh. So I think Twitter's just the worst spot for like archiving info and images and all that. There's just no good place on Twitter to do it, in my opinion. I was curious why VShoujo was trending once. I saw it was like 50 plus posts of just that. Yeah, that's why I found it, because I saw that you know, we were trending sometime later. And I was like, why are we trending again? Did something happen? Oh god, oh no, right? And then I click and it's just because there's so many bots spamming the name and the tag that it trends occasionally. And I was like, oh my god. Okay. Relieving that nothing happened, you know, but still. It was just crazy. I think even now if I just, let me see what happens if I just like go to the tag. It's that, and then maybe like one guy every 3 months that will be like, fuck you VShoujo or something like that. Let's see, hashtag VShoujo. Yeah, it's just people being like, oh, why is this trending again? And then, yeah, oh yeah, it's just like filled with scam bots. Holy, there's so many. I'm astounded at how many there are. You'd think they would update their tags and not use that one because, like, they might know, but they don't. So whoever's, like, farming these tags is just... I don't know, dude. I don't know. Or it's some people that scam with old merch, too. Sometimes they, post old merch of ours and they're like, oh, you could buy it here, but, like, they don't actually have the stuff for it, you know? Yeah, it's all automated. It is. You know what's crazy? The VShojo official account unfollowed me as soon as I left the group, but VShojo GP didn't. I always thought that was funny. They did not. Lol. Thanks, JP. I always felt bad for that side of things because I think they were very, like... there was a lot that was very surprising to them, too, you know? So I always felt bad. Feels like they got fucked over just as hard. Well, I cannot confirm or deny who knew what, or, you know, if they had some level of responsibility or whatever, because I'm not, like, in the inner workings there. You know what I mean? So I'll never say, like, oh, they for sure didn't do anything or didn't know anything, or, oh, they for sure did, because I don't know. I genuinely don't. And I probably will never know. You know? I feel bad because I think it's very likely that there were ways that they could have known if they did things differently, and then they just didn't. And it probably came from, yeah, them being a bit newer and you know, the way stuff was obscured from us, they maybe had things obscured from them. Not sure, though. I don't know. So I'll never say it was definitely one way or another unless I actually truly know that. You know what I mean? I don't want to point fingers or not point fingers specifically. I also don't want to, like, try to absolve anyone if I don't know either, right? They knew everything and nothing at the same time. That's kind of the way a lot of people had it. Or there are a lot of things that you, like, know, but then you're missing one detail that makes it bad and you don't know the bad detail. So you feel like you have a grasp of the situation, right? And then something happens that's very weird and you're like, what is that? That should not be the case. And then you learn the one detail you were missing and you're like, oh, and then it changes everything, right? That's how a lot of stuff was. So it's hard to say, like, oh, this person should have known this, should have known that, because they might have gotten like 99% of the info when doing due diligence, and then, you know, like the one important note was left out or something like that. Right? That's the kind of stuff that's very confusing to this day. Or interview was pretty damning. Yeah, that's the thing, is like it's also vague. I think that guy was also sitting there in shock. If I'm being honest. I will never know for sure, but it sounded like he had also just found out. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I've got no way to verify. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't want to point fingers in a blaming way or in an absolving way, either. Yeah, he had no clue, or he was a great actor. Who knows? Exactly. Who knows? And there's no way to... I have no legal way to be like, I'm gonna go find out. Like, right? And then there's just the other factor. What if you talk to someone and they're like, oh, it was actually this? Is that person telling you the truth? Who knows? Who knows? There was so much stuff that was said that was untrue from so many places and angles that to me, it was like, okay, everyone has some sort of personal interest here to protect themselves. And whether they will lie or not to do that, I don't know. And I have no way to verify if they are or not on a lot of things. Therefore, fuck it. Right? And that's where I was at. I was like, fuck it. I'm going. I'm going and I don't care. I don't care what the truth is at this point because I'm going, right? So that's kind of where I was. It'd be cool to get answers in hindsight, but like, what does that do? You know what I mean? I think at best it'd be nice for other people to know because other people might want to know if they should work with someone or not in the future or something. But like, I'm definitely not. So, all right. I can't because I don't know what's what and who's who kind of thing. So that's why if something's in a gray area or I suspect negative, but I can't be sure, I will just disconnect. I will just say, nope. Nope. It's just gone to me kind of thing, you know? I think that's the easiest way to do it, least problematic way to do it, etc. Go bald. I don't have a bald toggle. I don't have that. But yeah. So that's my philosophy, and you know what? It's good. I've been chilling, you know? I've been chilling. When you got control, hit the bricks. Yeah, what's the point in sitting there and lamenting and trying to figure out, you know, what the truth is when you can't actually verify anything? Brother, just hit the bricks, man. Hit the bricks. Easy. If management was confident in not spending money like morons, do you think the company would have lasted? Yeah. But not spending money like morons is not the right way to say that. There's so many different levels of not spending. Thing is, I don't think they would have gotten the money that they got in investment if they hadn't purported to these people like, you know, we're gonna have these, you know, tech projects, we're gonna make a game, we're gonna blah 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 blah. You know, like, I think they had to do that to get the investment, and then they had to work on those things and put money into those things in some way to make the investors you know, not sue them, right? Because now they're actually trying to do the projects that they said they were going to do. Whether or not it works out or not is not, that doesn't matter. Usually when someone invests, you don't put something in there like, this has to work out. It's just like, you have to at least deliver this product you said you were going to deliver, right? So, yeah. I think some of the crazy spending probably still had to happen just to make it, you know, legally work. And then after that, yeah, there's a lot. I would have not had, if I were running a company, I would have, you know, 5 full-time staff maximum with that size of a roster, maximum, and everyone else would just be like part-time for little things here and there. I think that's the biggest difference. I think if they just had fewer staff, fewer full-time employees, they could have kept it going for a couple years. At the current bleed rate. Like, they literally could have extended out a few years by just having fewer staff earlier. And from what I think I know, question mark, about the numbers, yeah, could have been a few more years, and that could have been time to maybe, you know, go get another investment to keep going kind of thing. But it is what it is. Yeah, there's too many pieces in the puzzle to say for sure, but I think when you have the roster that you have, and then you have the ability to get almost anybody on your roster anyway if you wanted to, there's no way you can at least keep it going. How many employees were there? I talked about this before, I was shown an org chart that claimed we had more than 25 full-time employees by winter, early 2025. So there were more employees than talent, and we had only just brought on 4 more. Or we're just bringing on 4 more. This was before Nova was even performing yet, doing anything yet, you know? Um, and to my knowledge, they were listed as full-time. Some of them on that list might have been, at that point, like contractors or something, but they were listed as full-time when I heard about it, or I was told that that was the case. And I know generally what was told to me is what the staff salary spend was for 24. And I put those together and went, what the fuck is this? That's when I started complaining a lot. That's when I went from like kind of complaining to big complaining. You said, I think they needed 4 employees where one of them actually worked on the YouTube channel. Dude, all we needed was genuinely like 2 managers between everyone who were just full-time. A person who is on like biz dev and outbound stuff and getting our sponsor deals and, you know, being our PR person to other companies, whatever, like that guy. A person working on media and content and promotion and marketing. And then like 1 flex person to do whatever else is just needed at the moment. General operations person. That's all we needed was that 5 to work with like a skeleton crew and still keep it on the front end functioning. Everything else could be contracted in, working with third parties. Merch, you don't need to have an internal merch system. You could just go to another company and go, hey, let's do a partnership. You handle our merch. Yay. You could pretty much anything else you could partner with another company. You know? So it was weird. It was weird. I remember hearing they spent a lot of money on really unnecessary and expensive marketing. Yes and no. I think they did right in the beginning, and I think the expensive marketing actually worked out really well, in my opinion. I think it worked out really well and set you up. I think it's a loss leader. Like, it's something that you blow money on to get people in, and then that monetizes better in other places. The problem is where that monetized better in other places was kind of like just to the talents and not to the company. They didn't have any way to bring that back to the center, you know? That was their issue. That was their really big issue, in my opinion. Good idea, talent owned. Yeah, I'm also really wary of like collectives and co-ops where lots of talent own a company as well, because you get so many differing opinions and you have a lot of people at that point that, you know, are not business people themselves that much. Some of them might be, but some of them might not be when you have like a bunch of talent owning a thing. And that can be good and that can be bad. I think the good is obviously like the control, making sure that if the money's going to the center, it's the talent anyway. Like, it makes sense. But a lot of those people, I've complained about this before, a lot of people don't know how to work. They only know how to be streamers and entertainers, but they really don't know how to work outside of that. And that makes them like not the ones. So I do think a lot of streamers are better off if they're in a corpo, being under something and it's owned by someone else. But I think them having monetary stake, having equity or something is important. But I don't think they should be the CEO. I don't think all of them should even be on the board. I think they should just have some sway and be considered. You know what I mean? But I think it's like, it sounds nice. I think from a moral standpoint, I do like the idea of like a co-op that's talent owned. But then functionally, I know it crashes and burns. You know, it rarely works well. You know, or you have like 1 or 2 talent representatives on the board who do really know what they're talking about with that stuff, and then like the rest of them elect that person. You know what I mean? I think something like that, like a democratic style, it might be the right way. So that way you're not putting people in that position who really don't know what they're talking about and frankly might not want to deal with the business stuff, you know? But yeah, the 5 Don system. Yeah, pretty much. It's the same issue, Ren. Like literally the same issue. If the talent got control of the company and the girls decided to make you CEO or CFO, would you do it? I never considered that an option, and I never really thought about it because I thought that there was no way the people in current actual C-level positions would ever give that up. So I never thought about it. I think I would have, yeah. It would have been a sad thing though, because if I couldn't spend all my time streaming still, you know, that made me sad. But I think I would. But I would maybe do maybe hire someone else in as CEO, and then I'm president, which is how a lot of companies will do this. I'm president, but the person doing the work of a CEO, because there are good CEOs who do actually do their work. There are some for smaller companies, usually they do it. I would hire someone to be that. Yeah, I would be the shadow leader instead, because I would be concerned about the hours and still being a creator. I wouldn't be able to do both, you know? CEO or COO? Well, both. I mean, it depends on the size of the company, too. I would keep it small, so I'd probably have like one CEO, and he'd be like in charge of all the C-level shit with me, basically. You know? I'd be like, here's what we're doing. Now, as the CEO, you make it happen, right? Or maybe I am the CEO and they're the COO, right? And that's what I hire in, and then that person is like actually doing all of the things, and I'm just more so pointing them at what to do, but I don't have the time to do it. I don't know. I never really thought about that stuff too heavily though, because again, I didn't really think that there was any chance we would ever get the IP. I did suggest something really early on, when it was clear that there were financial issues. I didn't know yet about like the level of debt. I thought it was just like, oh, we're going to run out of money within like a year or two. I had suggested at that time to someone that was higher up at the time, an option you guys could consider is letting the talents buy the IP. We own the IP, we own the company and its equity or whatever. However we end up doing this, somehow we are in control of the IP legally, and then you guys are hired under us as employees. And you could still maybe be in like an upper level position or whatever, but from there, if the company dies off and we can't pay for staff anymore, whatever, we still own the IP. We can still post on, you know, whatever. Like if we own the YouTube, one of us could just say, hey, let's pool money together and split like one editor. And that editor posts highlights of us on there. And then we have like that person also take care of our social media, right? Like just hire like one media manager and then like one manager between all of us to just kind of handle like deals. And then we all have our own personal managers that we pay for, just like we're indie. And that way publicly things could still keep going. And that was kind of what I suggested. And I was like, if you guys would ever be willing, that's one way to keep this going smoothly, should things get to the point where it actually has to shut down. And I think that was probably on their end, never considered. Why would they want to give it up? Give up the glory? They probably felt like, oh, we built this or something, even though like the talents really were the ones that did all the carrying of that. I think really what built the company was just whatever media they posted early on, a few conversations behind closed doors with some people to get money, and then everything else was just the talents from there, really, as far as like what was necessary. The other work could have been done by literally anyone hired in, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but I felt like that would have been a nice way, because in my mind I was like, things might have to end as we know it, but that doesn't mean that things have to fully end. It could just be like a very different era, and maybe we could do it like this. But I really didn't think like there was a world where they would ever actually do that. You know what I mean? It would have been nice though. Even in Drowning in Debt, they wouldn't give that up. I don't know. I mean, at this point, the name is probably worth negative money, right? Like the company name, when you said VShojo in the past, you thought about the members and kind of about the company. Now when people say VShojo, they think about the company, not the members. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's got a stink attached. So I feel like if we bought the IP or acquired it somehow, it could be possible to do like a huge media push. It would take so much work and so much effort to undo though. But we could do a huge media push and be like, oh, we got it back. It's us now. Yeah. You know, whatever. But I feel like that would be so not worth the uphill battle, you know? Because like then people would just be like, wasn't this the company that did this thing? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know, man. Much to consider, but things can always happen in a good or bad way depending on like how things go on social media. You know, I don't know. especially for PR outside the VTuber sphere. Yeah, it'd be hard to get everyone on board. Yeah, I don't even know that everyone would, because they would be like, I don't. The name is like tarnished, dude. You know, it's like the elephant's foot. Yeah, man. Exactly. At this point, I think everyone has to just move on. Yeah. I think we've all felt that way for a while. Because if I like, let's say tomorrow they were like, hey, we're closing down and we're selling you the IP for $1. Here you go. And I go, thank you, and I own it. I don't know what I would even do with it. I'd maybe like keep the website up and make it a memorial with a retelling of what happened. But like be like, here's who was a part of this, and list every single person who was ever a part of it and like what they did and like nice stuff about them, you know, and then just leave it as a memorial. That's probably the most I would do with it. You know, and then if more people did something in the future, then I would post like, here, these people are doing this, these people are doing that, and just use it as a spot where people land there, they could like find where everyone is now or something. Right? That would be the most I would do, I think, if I had the IP. Unless someone's injecting. If some company is like, hey, if you get it, we'll give you $20 million to make it good again. If I had that kind of money, okay, yeah, maybe I could do a media push to be like, it's ours now. But if I'm just doing that shit on my own, absolutely not. I would never, dude. It's just no way. No way. Having intermediary companies is always great to protect identities. Yeah, but you can do that in other ways. You know, there are plenty of other companies out there that you can use for that sort of thing. There are just other ways to do it on your own to keep yourself safe as well. You know, rebrand as a Phoenix themed VTuber and pick up the name again. Bums me out that media like the Candy Pop concert is gonna be lost to time. Yeah, I was trying to see if any of them had it. Not for me to redistribute it, but just to have it so I could watch it myself. I just wanted it. Because that was like my first memory of being in the group, was I was officially signed on, and then I wasn't announced yet though, and I was sitting in VC and we all like watched it together in VC, and we were all like cheering on everyone for like their stage that they were doing and stuff. And that was like my first proper group activity, was that concert and like organizing a watch party for it. So like, I would really like that. If anyone has it, reach out. I would really like the concert. But that's really all I want, I think. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure some people saved bits of it. 100%. Oh, so the site is still up. Yeah, it still is. I think they I don't know how long they paid it out for. I mean, the company still exists. Again, for the record, it exists. It's just dormant. It's dormant, right? Nothing's happening. So if a person just has $50 and wants to keep the site up by personally paying that, and then the site stays up and is owned by the company or whatever, like, you know, they can do that. They can do that all they want, you know? I said I have it as well. Do you? Domain expires August of this year. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, if any of you do have the video of it, can you open a mod ticket maybe and like help us get the thing? That would be very helpful. Very, very helpful, because I was trying to see if we could get it so I could watch it with some other girls. Are they technically in a legal problems? I don't know. If anyone is doing anything, legally with them. They should keep it to themselves, or they probably would. I think they should. So I don't know. But I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard a single thing about any updates on anything in like months. I heard one update, and that one update was giving me a very, very light maybe that there's still like a tiny chance I could maybe get my merch stock, maybe. Hard maybe. I have zero confidence that it will happen. But that was the only thing I'd heard in many months. So, yeah. Yeah. But I have no clue. The more or less thing you state legal problems with the IRS, I would have no way to know. Unless something's posted publicly, I would not know. No clue. I sure hope that people are being held accountable for anything that they need to be held accountable for. I absolutely hope for that. On my end, there's stuff that I could pursue for, but what would I be pursuing? Money they don't have? Right? Like, I have nothing I could possibly gain out of it. And I'm not in a financial situation where I have so much money that I could do it just to be like, yeah, I did that shit. Right? So I'm not really concerned with it. It does nothing for me. So I'm not the one. You know what I mean? Could get Gunrun's boat. He filed for bankruptcy. Personal bankruptcy, I should say. The company didn't, but he did. So, but the other thing is to go after an individual. When the LLC is the one that you're suing, if you want to go after individuals because the LLC doesn't have money anymore, that's usually not allowed unless you can prove like really, really awful crimes and things, and now you're piercing the corporate veil, and now it's a huge, expensive lawsuit. And it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And it's all stuff that if it ever happens, you guys won't get talked to about it. You know, TLDR. But yeah, don't ask me anything because IDK, man. IDK, I just sit here and eat snacks, you know? Like I said, for me, things have been good. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I don't know. I just hope everyone else is chilling. That's all I really care about, making sure everyone else is good. You know what I mean? Golly, didn't delete any of the old videos. Yeah, a lot of the old stuff is still up, which is nice. So it's, I don't know if that'll still be the case or anything like that. I don't know if anything will ever change, but at least it's there right now. I'm just glad that I didn't make or finish making. I was working on stuff, but I'm glad I didn't finish and hand over all of the video projects that I was going to do for the channel. Because imagine if in my last year, I made them a bunch of content and then it just like died on there. I would have been so upset. So I was very upset at the time that I was working on stuff. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't hand it to them because like there's all these issues, you know, and I still need to figure out what I'm doing. I'm glad I didn't finish those things earlier, you know. I do also, it does suck because I do have a bunch of footage that I can't really use for anything as well. But, yeah. Yeah. And you've been happy for the Lost Gen girls getting together, making their groups and doing their own things. Yeah, they should. I mean, that's the thing is like, what is a VTuber group? What is a content group? It's a group of friends doing stuff together. Right? So like anyone who was a member, I can still do stuff with whoever I'm friends with because I know them and I'm friends with them. It's that simple, you know? So the people who met each other through that stuff should absolutely do stuff together because a lot of them, you know, they became close. Sorry, I'm dying. They became close and they became friends through all that. So it makes sense. And I'm glad that there aren't any stragglers where they're like, oh, I don't know her. You know? I'm glad that like they're all kind of sorted into groups of people that actually know each other and like to hang out, and you know, like it's a nice thing. Because that was my concern, because I didn't know anything about them or any of them or anything except for like literally Phoebe, because she was my friend, right? So I didn't know anything about their social dynamics, and I was like, God, I hope they actually like each other and they can do stuff together, because if it all just dissolves right there, that just sucks. That just sucks so bad, you know? Like I was like, fuck. But no, it looks like everyone is it's just good, and they're just doing the thing that I was saying everyone should do, which is just like do shit with your friends, man. Plain and simple. You know? Like that's I think as a streamer what matters more than anything else, any like legal basis, you know what I mean? So it's nice. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future, man. All I care about is that my friends are chilling. My friends are chilling. So, I don't know. I kind of felt bad because I was like, I knew this for me was going to be a much easier transition because I like always had my own infrastructure set up. And I've made a lot of changes to what that infrastructure is for me. But since before I joined and through now, I've always had like a lot of my own stuff taken care of on the back end. But there were definitely some people that like did not. They just kind of like only had the company. So I was like, oh God, oh fuck, you know? So when I was first leaving, I was very stressed. I was very stressed about that more than anything. I was like, people are going to need, you know, to figure that out when they haven't had to. And that was like my concern, but everyone should be good now. Everyone should be chilling. Glad lots of 4 members still hanging out and doing collabs and stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to interconnect people where I can. I'm trying to like set up what I can to keep everyone chilling and hanging out. But I don't want to force anyone at the same time. You know? Like there's no obligation. I want everyone to treat it like any set of indie friends, you know? But yeah. So, all I do is keep it simple, and I put out feelers and I go, I want to do this on this day. Who wants to join? And that's, you know, I just keep it to that. I think the only thing I did want to do, though, that was maybe slightly more corpa, was just keeping people involved in, like, when I do booths and stuff, where I maybe bring them in to do merch as well. So, like what I did with Matara, we're working on, by the way, we're working on getting that drop online at some point. We're just, like, figuring out a bunch of little things to make sure it can go up all together. But I brought her to my booth and slapped her name on the booth with me because we had some merch of her, right? And made a bunch of merch that kind of matched. So we had a poster with both of us in it. We had some items that were of her and of me and of both of us. And then we had the shirts that looked like Pokemon cards, but they had our mascots. And we had like a version for me and Boris and a version for her and the Momos, right? So I wanted to do a little more of that. I think that's the only like corpo sort of thing that I really want to do, is maybe keep merch going and keep getting like some kind of matching merch with former members. But that's really it. I think that's just the most fun thing to do. So I want to do that. I think it'd be nice. Or like I did the outfit and the merch drop with Mouse. I want to do that with more people too. I was talking to a couple of them about it maybe. I would like to do it as like trios and stuff. Or like 4 people, but it's such an undertaking to get everyone to separately on their own with separate management go get their own outfits done and models done and then debut them all like together. That's a lot. That's a fucking lot. So I want to do it, but I'm like, if I try to get like 4 people to do it, it might be a little tough. Might be a little difficult, but we'll work on it. We'll work on it. The idea of a booth that facilitates meet and greets for other VTubers is very cool. Yeah, I'm very likely doing Hallmat again next year, and doing the booth and stuff as well. I'm still figuring out what other ones we're gonna do. I mean, everyone goes to AX, right? Everyone does like a lot of the really huge cons, so I kind of wanted to focus on the ones that were slightly smaller than that. I really don't want to do like AX, TwitchCon, like the enormous streamer ones. I want to go like one tick down from that and go to a lot of the ones that are maybe less, they have fewer VTuber guests to begin with, you know? And sort of spread out a little more. So yeah, I will probably do that. They're also a lot cheaper for you guys to go to. It's not just that it's cheaper for me to run a booth there, because yeah, AX booths, like if you want the big industry area, one of those booths, that shit is like 100K or sometimes more. It depends on the size of the booth. That shit is a lot. And there's no way I'm making that money back from a singular convention, right? It's just not happening. But if I can go to a lot of the normal ones, then, you know, very doable. Very, very, very doable. Come to Dokumi in Germany. I actually always wanted to do an EU con. It's just, it's so much harder because if I have stuff for a booth in the US, and then I'm like, I want to do an EU con, I'm not shipping all my stuff over. I might have to ship an entire huge merch box. That's one very big cost. But I could do that. And then once I do that, now I have to buy all new booth stuff. Nothing can be like reusable. Like everything has to be bought new over there because I'm not shipping like all the physical pieces of my booth over. You know what I mean? Now, most cons provide you with like some pipe and drape, which are like those hanging curtains to separate spaces out, and then they give you like a table set up, right? A few tables, 2 for free or something like that. But all the other stuff like the tech equipment and everything, it gets dicey. It gets dicey. And then if that's in Germany, and I'm like, oh god, we have to rent stuff from a rental company, but also it's German. Like now I have to get someone on the team that I trust implicitly who can speak both languages. You know what I mean? It's like I want to do it, but it's doing the whole booth could be a lot. So instead, it would be better to maybe partner with a convention and just do the meet and greets or something like that, you know? It might be way easier. If you're there again next year, I'm 100% there. Oh yeah, Hallmat. Hallmat, yeah, very, very likely. I just don't know if it'll be full booth or if it'll be like smaller and then meet and greets through their thing or through my own thing. I'm still figuring it out. SoccerCon or Anime Impulse. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. DreamCon. Oh, that one was really nice. The walkarounds were really fun. And I didn't see a lot of VTuber representation. So, you know, stuff like that, I'm like, might be pretty good. Might be pretty good. MomoCon for you. Yeah. It's the first time I heard a price tag for a con booth. Holy shit. Is it just the place or including expenses for people, material, etc.? That's just to get the spot. But again, that's like AX, and that's one of the really large ones on the floor. That it might cost like 100K to get the space. Like, if you remember, we had a giant AXV Shoujo booth in like July 23. That the all pink one. Or was that 22? Whatever year that was. That one, for example, was like about 100K. That's how much it cost at that during that year to get size booths of like, you know, that size. Anime NYC might not be too rough. No, it is. It is. Anime NYC is also crazy expensive if you want to get a booth. Now, that being said, some of these places have their big, like, industry area booths like that, and then they also have those little artist alley ones where you see an artist with a booth that, like, only 3 people could stand side by side in front of, like a tiny stall, and then they have, like, a shit ton of merch just plastered on it. I could consider doing things like that at the big cons. And then I don't do meet and greets. I don't have, like, appearances because you can't fit the equipment there. Instead, I just have the merch. That could be done, but I feel like it's less special to not have, like, us present there, you know? So that's why I haven't really, like, done too much of that. But yeah, that's why I'm not concerned about, like, the biggest cons ever. Plus, there are a lot of artists there doing, like, fan merch of us and everything. So Can't you fit a little phone screen next to the merch? We could put us on like iPads and have us sitting there, but line control is a problem. So a lot of those cons won't let you do anything like that because then you end up building a crowd in a line and you block the other booths next to you. And it's not fair to them. So usually in like the little artist alley, they don't let you do it. They just say straight up, do not. They're just like, don't, because you're going to cause a huge panic, you know? But yeah. Yeah, could still do a merch pop-up if it's not expensive. If they usually give you the table. You don't have to bring your own table. And then just everything else. They give you a table and a chair and a taped out like space on the floor. And they're like, this is your square. Do whatever you want, you know? Maybe Shoujo booth always partnered with Senpai Squad in the past rather than having their own booth. They originally had their own booths and then they started just, yeah, partnering with Senpai Squad. But the thing is, they didn't like partner with Senpai Squad to have a booth. We just had a thing with Senpai Squad where they made Senpai Squad merch that had us on some of it. But those weren't like VShojo items that VShojo got all the money for or whatever. That was just between like Senpai Squad and us for the most part. And kind of VShojo. Like they facilitated it. But that was mostly a Senpai Squad thing. And then we didn't have like a meet and greet set up at the Senpai Squad booth or anything. That was just their merch booth. And they had a car with us on the wrap. Because it was cool. And because they personally really liked us. Like the talents. And then Oscar would do con walkarounds with us. But that, again, was a personal endeavor. It was just him being like, this would be fun. I'll do this for you guys. There you go. You know what I mean? So it was like a mild partnership, but it wasn't like a VShojo X Senpai Squad half and half booth kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah. How does Senpai Squad afford a booth at like every con? I mean, that's their business. They sell a lot of merch of their own stuff, their own IP. They have like a lot of their own products and things. I don't know. They have their own side of their own business that does it, but not every con costs 100K to get a booth. I'm just talking about like AX and stuff. But also because they have the car setups and the car displays, that brings people in. It's something cool and unique for people to look at. So some conventions will reach out to companies like that and just give them the booth space, either cheaper or free. So that's a thing too. Sometimes they're like, we want the car display and everything here. Like, we want that. How can we bring that here? Oh, we give them a booth and we don't make them spend $100,000 to have the big square, you know? So sometimes that's how, like, if you have a more unique booth, you can get kind of let in, you know, a little bit. Doesn't mean you don't have to pay every time. You might still have to pay a base fee, but not 100K, right? But yeah. That's just how it goes. Oscar's Henya car and Buff. Oscar's the best. He really is. He really is. I brought him to Hallmat as one of my staff. And I had him there so that he could be available for anyone who went to my booth. They could all set up walkarounds with him. Surprisingly, a lot of them didn't set up enough walkarounds. I should have like pushed them harder. I think they just didn't have a lot of time. I should have pushed them harder. But he was available all day if they wanted to do walkarounds. I made sure like I had him there, paid, ready to do walkarounds. You know what I mean? So, could Cheeky sponsor an NYC booth for you and Mike? I don't want to go to Cheeky and go, hey, I want a booth at this con, sponsor it. It's $100,000. That's crazy. What I did instead was I said, I have a booth at Hallmat. You guys can come here, and I didn't charge them a damn thing, and you guys can come here and set up soap here. And we can sell some on the spot, and we can do a fun little launch party. Because that was the weekend that we were launching my set, right? So the way I do it is I actually reach out and I help out my sponsors, not the other way around too much. Not to say that they can't sponsor it the other way and then I do like something bigger with them maybe. But that's how I did with Cheeky. You know, I just wanted it to benefit them purely because they have been so good to me. You know, they've been great. They've been wonderful.
As the 3D print guy name you have distove on me, now it's my responsibility to 3D print your chi before foo foo
Are you gonna
fine.
use the are you gonna use the one that had been used as a shelf, or are you gonna use the other, the other 3D printer? Are you gonna use your really nice expensive one that you just put shit on, or which one, huh? Which one? If they sold the anime collab boxes, they'd sell so well at an anime con. I know, that's what I was saying. I was like, you guys should take those like anime collab ones and straight up just do convention displays. But I don't think they have ever done much at cons, so that's why I wanted to bring them out to Hallmat and kind of like let them experience it, because I don't know if they've done a lot. They've done some stuff at other events. I don't know if you saw, but they had a thing at Warped Tour. The owner of the company was like, yo, you want to go to Warped Tour? I was like, what? I was like, I don't have a physical body. I don't go to things. And he was like, okay. But yeah, they did a whole booth at Warped Tour, man.
Still haven't chosen one of the 11 3D printers I
Ugh.
have, and I fixed that one and it's now making cats.
I'm glad you fixed the one, but why do you have so many? Dude, get rid of them. Chainsaw Man one sold out almost instantly. Oh, yeah. They're bringing it back. I think I told you guys. They're bringing it back, I believe, this Friday. I was told I was allowed to give you guys specifically a big heads up before other people. Let me find it. But I think they were going to, but there might be a change. And I know I told you at the time, they were telling me maybe Friday, and I know I told you guys maybe, but I got an update like yesterday, that they said they're still working on it, but I believe it's not going to actually happen on Friday like they initially thought. It's a really stupid thing that happened. It's not Shiki's fault. There was like a stupid thing that occurred, and they were like, "Damn it!" So there's something they're fixing. I don't want to give you like too much like of the insider everything, but it was like a printing related thing. So and they're not gonna release stuff that isn't perfect, you know. So it will be back. The Chainsaw Man Shiki collab box will be back for sure, but not Friday. So you don't have to scramble this weekend if you were waiting for that. I just want to give that update because they did ping me yesterday and were like, hey, let them know. Yeah, there's something with the way stuff was printed that they were like, no. So they're fixing it. And then they have another thing coming out. I don't know if they said what it is yet, so I'm not going to say what it is yet, but they do have another thing coming out that they're working on. That's still full steam ahead. I'm going to let you know when that is. And I think it's something a lot of you will like. I know something I will like personally. I'm going to get it for sure. But they have that, and then they're still going to get the Chainsaw Man out. So there's going to be like two collector's edition things pretty soon, in just a little bit of time. So I'm excited. Need more cheeky soap? Get more, man. Use my code. Lies of Peace scented soap. Honestly, that would go so hard, dude. That would go so fucking hard. Lies of Peace soap. And then you just call it pea soap. Yeah, make it a bright ass yellow. Because my bar was like melon flavored, but it's a little cantaloupe-y and honeydew, you know, it's like not like exactly one. They were like, well, cantaloupe's orange on the inside, so what if we make your bar yellow? And I was like, I don't think you want to put a yellow soap bar in front of my community, because they're just gonna call it pea soap. Like it's gonna be pea soap. Yeah, piss bar. So it's green. It's a nice green. It's slightly lighter green. Okay, maybe the tiniest tinge of yellow in it. The tiniest tinge of yellow. But it's not a yellow soap bar. It is not. Because I just knew. I just knew. Okay, let me check. Okay, yeah, they didn't say what the next collab is on their Twitter, so I will not say. I will not say it. I will not say it. I wonder if they'll ever bring the solo leveling one back. I really liked the box for it. It looked crazy good. That shit was cash money. Cash money. He said I meant to get the starter box, but I ended up getting the starter bundle. Don't regret the purchase though. No, the bundle's really good. The soap saver tray that they have works really well. I love that thing. But the soap bag for like the shower is huge. Because if you use that soap bar in the shower and you don't have a bag around it, it will shrink up really quickly because you're just covering in water, right? It's just water spraying on it, and you end up shrinking the bar and not using so much of the soap. But when it's in the bag, it gets way less wet, you know? And you can use it more sparingly, and it like lathers it for you and stuff. So it's pretty good, pretty good. So highly recommend the soap bag. Otherwise, you're gonna go through the soap a lot faster than you need to. Soap bag just rub it away a little quickly though. Yeah, but you shouldn't like hold the soap bag and be like, let me scrub my whole body, and like go over the same spot over and over. You should use it to apply and then put it down and like finish scrubbing. You know what I mean? But also, like, if the soap bag doesn't rub it away, the water's gonna wash it away faster. So one way to do it is I have I use the soap bag to apply, but I like stronger exfoliation than that. So I've showed you guys these, right? Italy towels. They call it an Italy towel. It's not from Italy. It's a little Korean thing. And it's a little towel that you'll use in Korea, usually in the shower. And each color is like a different, I guess, grit. Shit is like plastic sandpaper. Okay. But not so scratchy that it'll kill you. They look like these. All right? They look like this. These. I take my soap bag and I like use it on myself, right? And then I put it down and I grab this thing and I go, and I like sand my body down. This shit is so good. This is the one. Okay. And as a result, I use very little of the soap bar. I use like what's necessary, and then I exfoliate with this because I like a really strong grit. You know what I mean? Don't use this shit on your face though. Do not. Do not. You grow and cure your own loofahs? What the fuck? Use an African net sponge? Yeah, same idea. Same idea. But I think it's nice. I think it's nice to get like a good scrub in. So I do that because the soap bag is good. And it does lightly exfoliate, but it's light. And if you're like more sensitive skinned, I think that's good. But I only have sensitive skin on my face. Everything else, if I don't scrub a lot, I will grow a carapace like a crab. Okay? I will grow like a shell on my body of more skin, and I will be crispity crunchity, all right? So I have to like really like slough off. I produce a lot of hair, a lot of nails, a lot of skin. My nails grow so fast. I don't know. My vitamin E usage is crazy or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what that is, but I just do. If I get a cut, it heals up really fast. I don't really scar easily, etc., etc. So I don't know. Maybe I'm Wolverine. Rah! Maybe I'm Wolverine or some shit, but I don't know. So as a result, I'd be scrubbing my skin off. You know, I have that towel and I just go and I pull half of my body off. Oh, hi, Wolfie. Good boy. He's been hanging out in here a lot. Good boy. Wolfie discovered the dog bed, finally. Even though I've tried to put him on it constantly. And he normally likes to, like, be alone in another room kind of thing. And he just comes in here when he wants food, but he's actually been hanging out in here and sleeping on there, so it's been nice. I didn't even notice he was there because he just kind of blends in with the blanket, but I saw movement, and it was, I think him and Nucky were both on the blanket, and then Wolfie, he can't leave him alone. He likes to play fight. Nucky, get off my desk. He realized I have snacks here. Move. Move. But Wolfie loves to torture him, so he'll see Nucky sleeping somewhere, and he'll, like, get on him and start wrestling him. Like he'll be deep sleep, middle of sleeping, and Wolfie just goes like, "Rah!" and, you know, like, sits on him and starts wrestling. So I saw movement, and it was Nucky running away from him. Wolfie always wins those fights, man. Are dog beds comfy for people too? If you're like a normal weight, you're probably going to sink down through the dog bed a little bit if it's like one of the lighter ones and hit the floor. This one that I have is like really dense padding. So I can sit on it. I don't weigh a ton, but even so, it's not the most comfortable thing. I actually have slept on it several times. At one point I was moving somewhere, and when I was moving, my like mattress, my bed, everything was not going to be there immediately. So I put the dog bed down, and me and my cats just slept on the dog bed in the middle of an empty room. You know, when you first move somewhere and your stuff isn't there yet. I did that before. It was like doable, but I still woke up and I was like, oh, my hip, you know, a little bit. Just a little, because you sink into it a little, and then like the floor's right there. It's not the thickest thing ever, you know? But it's okay. It was okay. But I have absolutely, like, there have been times I've like napped on it with them briefly, but like that's mostly it. But the one big sleep I did was a legitimate entire night's sleep. And that was just because I had no furniture yet. like everything had not arrived. Actually, no, I was getting a new bed, I think, that time too. Which is why I wasn't there. I had like other stuff, and the other part was I had moved stuff around all day, and I was like sore and stuff, and then I slept on a dog bed. It was like a whammy of, you know, ways to make sure your body hurts. The cats loved it though. They had a great time. They were really excited. But I can't tell you that I necessarily like recommend it. It's okay. It's okay. So it would kill me then. I think my TLDR is, if it's not the thickest dog bed ever, and it's not the densest padding ever, and you're putting it on a hard floor, if you're over 100 pounds, just don't even do it. Don't even do it, unless you like sleeping on the floor. Because it's not going to be much different. It's going to be like sleeping on a regular pillow. Imagine lining up a couple regular pillows and sitting on it. You know? Now, is it better than a hard floor? Maybe. But, you know, I'm good. I'm good. And I'm going to assume most of you are over 100 pounds. I think it's pretty common. Need to be a back sleeper. Yeah, if you sleep on your back, I think you'd be really okay. Because I know a lot of people that like to sleep on the floor on their back, and they're like, oh, it aligns my back, it's quite good. But if you are a side sleeper, then it's really bad, because then your body like contorts instead of sinking into something, you know? And that's when it's like really, really not good. I've been trying to see if I could become a back sleeper a little more. But I'm a big side sleeper. I always wake up on my side, even if I fall asleep kind of on my back. But I've been trying to see if I can. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, but I'm working on it. It's my own personal, it's my personal goal right now, is to become a back sleeper. I want to do it. For my neck. Because I wake up and I'm turned on my side, but my head isn't looking straight ahead. My head is looking like down a little. You know what I mean? I'm like on my side and I'm like this. Just a little bit, and I kind of don't want to do that. So I feel like if I sleep on my back, maybe that won't be a thing. I don't know. We'll see. Stomach sleepers scare you. That freaks me out. I feel like I can't breathe sleeping on my stomach. I cannot fall asleep like that at all. And then you have to keep your head turned, and that shit kills my neck. I can't do it. Had to get a high-ass pillow for your neck? Yeah. I gotta figure out what I'm doing, man. I gotta figure it out. You were a stomach sleeper for the longest time? I just can't fall asleep like that. Like, if I lay on my stomach and I feel slightly comfortable, something about having to have my neck turned that far, I just start to feel it pretty quickly. I don't know. I can't do it, man. So your neck feels broken if you sleep on your stomach. Me too. It's too much. It's too much. I can lay like that for a bit, but I can't. If I sleep that way and then wake up, then the moment I start to turn my neck back to the front, it's like so painful. I can't do it. I can't do it, dude. Oh, you're a side sleeper, but your doctor gave you straight elbow brace to sleep with? Now it's torture. Yeah, I don't know, man. How's your posture while streaming? I just sit in my chair. I sit in my chair. I'm either cross-legged and sitting straight up, or I'm leaning back onto the chair and it kind of pushes my back where it needs to be. I don't lean forward, though. I do not let myself have the slouchy gamer lean kind of thing. Because for me, I notice it because, I'm a little short, so the desk comes up a little, like, higher. So I push my chair up a bit, so I, like, match up with it. And it puts me in a position where if I do lean forward, it just doesn't work out well. Yeah, I can't do the shrimp. I don't know, if I try to sit here and lean forward like a shrimp, I actually feel uncomfortable doing that. It's one thing to let your shoulders roll forward a little and you're, like, mildly shrimpy. But, if I like full shrimp and I like lean forward onto the desk even, I can't do that. I can't do that. So I usually just lean back in my chair, or I'm cross-legged and I'm straight upward. You know. Every former tech corpo streamer sits cross-legged. That's very specific. I think it's because a lot of us are aware of posture and how bad it gets. And especially if you've done like programming and stuff and you're used to just staring at the screen and like looking over lines of code and you're staring, it's really easy to lean. I used to have, you know what? I should get one of these again. I used to have like an elastic band that I could use to literally just strap myself at shoulder height, strap myself to my chair. And that way, if you start leaning, you like feel the pressure of it, you know what I mean? So you just like, you end up leaning back into your chair a little more. I had that a long time ago. It was elastic for something else. It wasn't made for that. But I was like, I wonder if this works. And I tried it and I was like, holy shit. That shit's good. That shit's great. Yeah, like a seatbelt. Yeah, but like horizontally across, right? Just up at the shoulders. Because I think even if your back is touching your chair, you can like kind of trick yourself into thinking like, oh, I'm leaning back against my chair, but you can still lean forward with your neck and your shoulders, you know? So that's how I do it. That's how I do it. Ooh, a racing harness. Actually, it would work really well. I just feel like I'd get so hot in a racing harness. I would start boiling. I'd be absolutely boiling. You just stand at work. I don't like standing all the time. I like to swap between sitting and standing, so I'll push my chair back sometimes and just stand here. And I'll usually like... something I do is I just sit there and I like stretch out my legs to the side. And I just... that's how I like stand lower, you know? Let me see if I can get a picture. Hold on. This is really image I have. This really specific image I have in my head. Let me see if I can find it. There's something that people do when they need to bend down so someone short can do a thing. And specifically you see it in like K-pop all the time, where a lot of idols that are pretty tall will have a stylist and it'll be like a 5'2" woman, right? And they'll have to bend down so she can like fix like the top of their hair or something. But instead of bending forward so they don't like ruin stuff on their outfit, they'll just they'll do like a side split and they just like put their legs straight out so that their upper body is like in front of them. And I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of it because that's what I do. Because it's good. It's good for you to stretch. But I can't find a good picture of it. I can't find a good picture. But if any of you find a picture of any of them doing that, because there are like tons of pictures of like all of them standing in front of their stylists and doing the leg split, or in the backs of pictures doing it to like make themselves lower so they don't look crazy next to someone. I'm thinking of that because I've seen so many pictures of it, but I can't find a good one. But if you can imagine that, that's what I do when I'm at my computer and I want to like stand. Has anyone tried a kneeling chair? Oh, I always wanted to try one of those. They look like torture devices though. I'm sure they don't feel that bad, but you know. Charlie in the empty pool. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I always want to try the kneeling chair. But is it comfortable? Let's see. Like, are they actually good? I feel like my legs would get numb. I think I don't know. I think my legs would get numb in one of those things as I look at it. No thanks. They're popular with corporate interior designers for projects, but I've never seen them using them IRL. Yeah, I feel like people just get a good chair to put your back against. Like if you're gonna sit, you're gonna sit. And then they just get like standing desks they can stand in between. I think that's all I've really seen people use. Oh, the bouncy ball chair? Holy shit. I would just tell people to sit cross-legged. They'd be like, oh, I like to sit on it because there's no backrest and I have to sit there and balance and it keeps my back straight. Oh, just sit in your chair differently, dude. Okay? Just cross your legs and you'll be fine. It does the same thing. You don't need to buy a whole new chair for it. It's crazy. They just kind of looked silly more than anything, though. You know, they just kind of looked weird. So they suck ass. You feel like your knees are reduced to rubble if you sit in one for more than an hour. Yeah, I think more so I would go numb on the backs of like my hamstrings. Anytime I sit on a chair and I sit up toward the edge of it and there's a little more pressure on the back of my leg, kind of the way it looks like you sit on one of these, I always lose feeling in my legs. Your legs fall asleep if you sit cross-legged. See, mine don't. So I'm able to sit here, and if I'm streaming, I can sit cross-legged the entire time and never have my legs fall asleep. So I think it's you know, to each their own, but for me, cross-legged was never an issue. It's it's the normal sitting, but like up on the chair a bit, that gets me. I can't do that. I can't do that because some people will suggest, they'll be like, oh, you could sit, you know, a little more forward in your chair. Don't put your back against the back of the chair, but keep yourself up straight. So you have to use your muscles to hold yourself up. Oh, it's so good for you, but I can't. I can't. My legs go numb. Crisscross applesauce. I never called it that, and I never heard it called that until I was like maybe 10. And I remember someone told me to sit like that. They're like, oh yeah, just sit crisscross applesauce. And I was like, what? I remember this distinctly, being really confused and being like, what? They were like, you know, crisscross applesauce. And I was like, with my legs crossed? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I don't know. I just had never heard it. Called something else when I was a kid. Was it Indian style? It's okay to type it. No one's going to get mad at you. It could be something else, though. From the style. It's okay to say it. You're not actually using it to mean it. You're just being descriptive. Yeah, I remember hearing that. I don't think anyone else said it too much, though. I'm telling Twitter. I mean, I didn't use it. I just said legs crossed, and that was kind of all it was. I remember teachers saying that. I remember people around me saying that. So I was really confused when people would say anything else. I was like, what? What do you mean? What are you saying? You offset your sitting habits with weightlifting seems to work. Yeah, it's the best thing you can do. Get some flat shoes, start powerlifting, dude. Start doing it. Or if you're at home and you're like, I don't want to go to the gym, at least get some like free weights and just do squats, man. Just do some basic ass squats, you know? It's something. It'll help. I have a friend, I don't remember what amount they said they did, but they said every time they sit down and work at their computer, they do like a certain number of reps. But what they do is they like space them out. So if they're sitting for 3 hours, they force themselves to get up and do squats at the end of that 3 hours. And then the next 3 hours, they do another set of squats. But they also have like per hour a number that they specifically do. So if they only do 2, they do this. And that's their like secret sauce. And I wonder if there's any truth to that, or if you could just do it all at the end of the day and it wouldn't matter. You know? I don't know. But I guess that's their way that like they can keep up on it, which is the most important thing, right? So the office I work at has these amazing chairs with curved backs that surprisingly do wonders to me as a tall guy, but one chair costs like my rent. Is it a Herman Miller? Is it a Herman Miller? I tell you right now, if you want to get one of those, there are always companies that like fund their office furniture to be those, and then at some point have to move offices, and they don't always bring their furniture with them. So you can find these places that have old ones from an office that were lightly used that then, yeah, they liquidate it. And a lot of people that I know that couldn't afford that full price got them used and lightly used. Again, lightly used. And it's like way, 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 way less expensive. So if you want one of those, you want to try it, that's what I would suggest. That's what I would suggest. We have one person saying their ass and they fall apart fast, and then another person saying they're worth it. We all have opinions. Most people seem to like them. I'm fine with like a normal ass chair. The problem with me is, you know, at my size, every quote unquote ergonomic chair will always hit me in the wrong spots. You know what I mean? So I don't care what I sit in as long as it's adjustable. If I can adjust it, I'll be okay. Or I could take a normal ass flat backed chair and then I can add stuff to it, you know, so that's like right for me. That's really what matters to me. Get the V-Shoja office equipment at the auction to flex. I don't think they had any office equipment, and there's no planned auction. They had no office equipment, dude. They didn't have an office. You have a steel case gesture. A lot of people have said good stuff about steel case. Yeah. One of my friends had one. I think I sat in it before. I don't know. Did I? I don't know if I've tried one. Gesture. A lot of people have said really good stuff about gesture, yeah. Like specifically. The gesture. I keep hearing about it. And it looks cool. Is it like super adjustable? Let me look at it. Let me see. Yeah. A lot of people have said good stuff about this chair. I have one that kind of looks like that. It isn't that, but it looks like it. And the back, I can like adjust the lumbar up and down a lot. There's a lot that I can do. So I love this thing personally. You've gone through 3 to 4 Aerons over the years. What are you doing to them? What are you doing to them? Thanks, Gainer. Saw your old ass fabric office chair. Oh, that's right. You submitted your picture of yours. Yeah, that thing was cooked. That thing was beyond cooked, man. Get rid of it. It's over. It's done. It's been 1,000 years. It's time to let it go. Oh, you have cat puke stains on your chair? They puke on your chair? See, mine, if they're on my chair and they feel like throwing up, they always jump off of the chair and go to like the most expensive rug in the room. Sometimes in the whole place. Sometimes they go to another room and they go, oh yeah, the really expensive soft plush rug in this room, I'm going to throw up on it. They also find the lightest part of the rug, the most stain ready area, you know, and that's where they like to go and throw up on. It's their favorite. You guys find a nice clean patch of carpet. Yeah, I was considering buying, you know, you can buy like carpet squares, right? I was considering buying some different carpet squares and seeing if there's one that they're particularly attracted to throwing up on. And then just leaving a couple of those around. Just in little, like, you know, random corner spot where you might not see it too well. Just a little thing. And then when they want to throw up, if they like that spot, they might do it. They might do it. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. Nice part of the rug is the analog to good outdoor sand. Right, so you get it in like a high pile tan. Right? And you do like a basic wipe up, and after they've like thrown up on it a few times, boom, break out the new carpet square. Ta-da. Right? Why don't they go to litter box to puke? They never do. They never ever do. That's a good question. I assume they don't want to put their face near the smell. I don't know. I don't know. You're like to throw up from heights? No. Mine don't do that. They always have to jump down to the floor and like be right up against it, you know. They love that. Your cat gets car sick? No, mine get really upset. They just get upset. They act like babies and they wail. They wail in the car, and then if I drive for long enough, they just stop because they realize at some point it's just not going to work. And they just stop complaining. Oh, if you hear your cat starting to throw up, you throw them outside and then let them back in afterwards? Ooh, I could never. I don't put my cats outside ever. I could never. But if you do have indoor-outdoor, very convenient, very convenient. Mine are very, spoiled. Very spoiled. I do have, like, a plastic tray. Like one of those cafeteria trays. That I just kind of leave somewhere. And if someone sounds like they're gonna throw up, if I'm awake, if I'm around, I'll grab the tray and I'll just hold it in front of them and I'll try to catch it. I'll try to catch it. It works. It works sometimes. It doesn't work every time. Like I have to be there, but you know, it's something, right, Nookie? He loves to throw up the most, right, Nook? Yes. Sliding spam mail under them. Yeah. That's what I used to do. Exactly. I don't know, because sometimes it's just like a hairball. It's whatever, you know, you pick it up, it's fine. Other times it's like food and it comes out bright orange. And trying to get that color out of a carpet, depending on the carpet color, is like impossible. Impossible. Sometimes it comes out green. Very, very green. Right, Nook? You love puking bright green. He loves it. Right, Nook? He agrees. Is this person a bot? I feel like they're not. I think I'm just gonna leave them. We'll see. They're like a little experiment. Lucky, can you stop that? What are you doing? You're acting like a little freak. He's doing weird shit. He's trying to get to my food. And he's gonna walk in front of me so I lose tracking a million times. Don't make me banish you. Why can't you be like your brother and sit next to him on the dog bed like a little angel? Like an angel who would never attempt to steal my food. Huh? Just staring at me. He's sitting right in front of chat, by the way. I have like 2 instances of chat up. So I guess I'll see you, but the one that I usually read off of, he's sitting right in front of it. He knows where it is. He's sitting up like as tall as he can in front of chat. So you do the thing where he reaches for food with his eyes closed? Yeah. He keeps his eyes closed and then he sticks out a paw and he makes it look like he's stretching. He acts like he's stretching and then he like rests his paw on where the food is. Try to pretend he's not about to drag it over to himself and throw it on the floor, you know? He really thinks he's sick. He really, really, really thinks he's sick. Slick. Lucky. I'm gonna need you to move, because if I'm gonna play a game, I need that chat instance up so I can see it. And if I can do my job, then I can afford snacks for you, okay? This comes back to you. Now you're standing in front of the phone. Look at him go. Thank you for the bits. Beautiful, beautiful rendition. A beautiful rendition. Thank you for the bits.